we are stardust people. We come from the stars.
It's 2021, and due to the pandemic, we're locked up in our houses. But for a brief moment in time, we're connected with people around the world, and it's like a window to the universe opened up to us.
Our goal is very simple. We want to understand the universe. If you had to build our universe, what would be the bricks that you have that you can no longer take apart, right?
Space Messengers started as a workshop. We connected a classroom in Taos, New Mexico, with a classroom in Portugal, and they met every week via a Zoom with experts in the field of particle physics, space science, astrophysics, native science, philosophy of science, and then all of that content that came out of that workshop became part of the final immersive projection installation that we are now traveling around the world, and it launched here in Portugal for the first time.
Space Messengers is an immersive mixed reality experience that combines international students from different countries. We have workshops with different scientists and philosophers and artists that talk to us about the great questions of humanity.
Over here, it's the Space Messengers board.
Well, you've seen these messages popping up. So these are messages either from students, teachers, or visitors.
So if you want to leave your own message, you just have to scan that QR code, and the message will travel with us through the festival.
Here we have a movement sensor station, which captures your silhouette and then puts it against a database of videos.
Each of the little dots is a video.
Working with the ambassadors, I have definitely seen them grow their communication skills and professional skills when it comes to developing their own personal careers.
I've learned a lot of the technical stuff, like how to set up different equipment, how to use virtual reality headsets. I've learned how to communicate with people.
Not only are they participating to help the installation come together, they're also learning skills that will help them in the future outside of the installation.
So this concept of debris is really, really dangerous, not only for humans in space, but for all of the other wonderful things we have in space.
We are creatures that live on a rock in space, so we have a very limited experience of the universe, but through science and through mathematics and through all these tools, we can get a glimpse of enormous scales of space-time, you know, of the beginning of the universe.
I think Space Messengers is such a nice project and works so good. It's all about giving skills to the students, preparing good citizens for the future, for an interplanetary, sustainable, universal future.
Future requires us to bring some of those
So when Space Messengers started, it didn't have AI. It was from 2020 till now. And when we got this opportunity, I met Bethany and I said, how can we create a custom large language model to really make this thing, us be able to access the thousands of messages that we've collected over these years and all these little video clips that are like the voices of our community. So as you saw in the video, the messages before were just kind of floating up. And we wanted to be able to use AI in a new way. So I want Bethany to talk a little bit about what we created.
Yeah, so we went back and forth knowing that we had this large database of all these messages. We wanted to make it dynamic. So we used an AI model to, the messages interact with the AI in 3 ways. The first way is that it is tagged with selected tags that find interconnectedness between each message, and it can have as many of those tags as the AI saw relevant. And those are the lines that you saw between the messages, and you can see that they connect to different parts of different bigger ones. So the second way it interacts is it categorizes the messages into a singular higher category, and that's where our universe is created. And so then you can go through there and enter each one of those and see the ones that are relating and how those messages relate to the other topics. And then the third way is with an actual chatbot, and so when you send in the message, the chatbot is able to identify if it's a statement or a question, and this is where we fine-tune the model, as Mary's mentioning, to answer it in the way that we wanted it to seem fit. So the AI model has access to database about the project, about STEMarts, about a lot of view topics that we wanted it to have. And then we also fine-tuned it to have the cadence and of what I've been saying is a philosopher, artistic, and a scientific answer. So they have, if you see all the responses, they kind of have this flow that mimics what we were trying to convey to the audience and the reader.
Yeah, so it just allowed us to be able to take all those human-generated messages that we had from our students, our scientists, everyone that was part of the project, and now be able to really access them in a different way. Because one of the things about this curriculum, because it really is like a youth program and a sci-art installation, it's really, Space Messengers is a documentation of the work that we do at STEMarts, really. Because we're going around and we're doing these workshops, exposing students to all of these different interdisciplinary topics, you know, about philosophy, astrophysics, particle physics, and all around the big question is, what is our place in the universe? What is our role in the universe? Getting them to really think big, and how can we imagine a shared future that is ethical and sustainable? And so with that big question, we had all these great thoughts, but they were stuck in a computer, you know, and we didn't see them except when they would float up every once in a while. But now, if you actually interact with this, you can see, with your hand, it has a Connect camera, like the work that Mary was doing, and you can actually spin the universe just for fun, because Marcus Dorninger, here's our team, by the way. Marcus Dorninger on top is the touch designer genius. And so you can actually now select with your hand these topic areas, like it was a mouse. And this allows you to use your whole body to experience it. So really add in a whole other level, not just the AI, but also the Connect and the Touch Designer software that allows you to interact with the data with your body. That was the other thing that we had before, but not to this extent.
Yeah, and a kind of big part, I think, is that all the messages being submitted are people, and we, if you saw, label the AI answers as AI messengers, so you can see which part is generated and what is coming from people as well, so you can identify that visually.
We were very careful about that, and we didn't want to taint the messages are the core of our project. They are the voices of our youth and our community. So we really have it separated, where when we trained this AI messenger, like she said, to be like the philosopher and the scientist and the artist and a poet too. And it's always in a different color. So you know when that messenger is the trained messenger that is responding to those questions. Yeah, and then the other thing I want to say that one of our scientists, astrophysicist Dr. Julia Bluebird, who is here, she actually taught us about the cosmic web being the underlying structure of the universe and the images, because we are all artists here. This really is an artist exploring AI forum. But basically she showed us this, and when I saw that in those images of what our universe actually looks like and how the galaxies are connected by filaments, and they look like clusters, a lot like neurons in the brain. And we decided to use that as our model for the AI. And that's why it looks like the way you saw, where there's these points and then there are these clusters and they're all connected with filaments. So we use the cosmic model as the model for the AI, which was part of your job to help us kind of capture. And we should mention Remy. So Remy Dumas is our master creative coder that worked very closely, if you want to talk about that.
Oh yeah, so like I said, it identifies statements, but it also identifies other things, like it has a filter for like if anything was inappropriate or something. And so I worked with Remy, and that was human coding to be able to make sure that the right things are being answered, and it keeps it in a safe space as well.
Yeah. How would we have time?
Good. You're at about 10 minutes.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to say is the sound. If anybody was there, the sound is also a really important part of this. Sound has been a part of Space Messengers since the very beginning. And when you are there, every motion that you make is actually auditory with a different sound that you feel in your body. So when you move for example, use this gesture to spin the universe, you get this wonderful wind sound. And we used NASA, sounds from NASA free audio library. We used nature sounds of wind and rain and water. So when you're hovering over the lines, you get little water droplets. And this actually does help to make a connection between one of the core missions of STEMarts, which is like finding those connections between art, science, and technology. So you feel the movements, and it's really data visualization is what this piece is. Like that image that you see there, very often you think maybe it's just a beautiful graphical image, but it's not. Every dot is one of the thousands of messages. And every line is not just a line. It's the message's connection to its topic area. And the other thing I'd like you to talk about is how it actually has the possibility to like create its own messages. As it starts to see patterns of people can enter their own messages. That's another thing. It's not just archived messages. People, as you saw in the video, can send their own messages right there live. And they see it appear on the screen, which is also magical. And then now that becomes part of the database and gets tagged.
Yeah, so that is like the main part, is to see your message become connected. And Marcus did a great job visualizing that. So once you send in the message, it'll identify it as a question, and if it's a question, it'll answer it in that way. And then while you're at the exhibit, you just look at the screen, and on one of the sides, your message will pop up, and then the AI messenger will also pop up in a different color, answering your question, and then your message shoots off to the main category that it was tagged in, and you get to see where it ended up, and then the AI messenger follows it.
And I'm kind of looking forward to the other thing that Marcus said it could do, but it's so new, this piece is so hot off the press, that we haven't seen it evolve yet. But he was saying that as people start adding more messages, that the AI will be able to start to see patterns and create new clusters, subcategories clusters. So we don't have to manually do that all the time. Imagine if we had to do that manually. And so it's going to visualize, right? So even the cloud, and when you zoom in, you can actually see those clusters better. If you notice, there's the overview view, and then there's the zoom in view. And I'm really excited to see how that shape changes over time as people contribute their messages.
Yeah, I do like that too. And something that I really like about this structure and the way we set it up, the way we're storing the data, is it's very fluid and moving. So like if we don't like something, it's very easy to interpret it differently, mathematically differently, and to get different visualizations, just so that we can keep it moving, see if there's an issue, see if there's a part where maybe I fine-tuned too far into one direction, or it's responding too generically, that it's fluid and we can adapt to what the outputs are giving us.
And so the last thing we want to talk about is the next step. So now that we've created this piece, one of the things that's exciting about it is that it can be used for other topic areas. So one of the exhibits that we're thinking of doing is around climate change. And so we can actually now, instead of it being around space, for example, it can be used to collect climate messages, climate memories. And then those messages around the topic of climate become what's being visualized using the same structure and model. So it has a lot of potential, but we're still going to be doing our Space Messengers and traveling it to different museums for an indoor venue very shortly. And thank you for listening.